What Trump just did with the big, beautiful bills, inexcusable. So I've got literally not only no defense for him, get the out of here. I heard you say something recently that I thought was so insightful. Pulled my producer aside, said the same thing. I think the odds of Trump being on the Epstein list borders on 100%. You see a better path through this. I want Americans to thrive. I don't want Americans, I don't need it to be my way. If we can agree on the end state, like admittedly, I'm big on freedom, liberty, like those things matter to me a lot. If somebody can paint a picture how we get to freedom, liberty, meaning, fulfillment, the ability to live in a capitalist system, I'm all for it.
I feel like at the very least, the thing we can agree on, even if we might have a disagreement on this broader macro econ thing, is that we probably need to reduce or eliminate the deficit and have a budget surplus. I feel like Democrats historically, over the past 30 years, have been infinitely better at that than Republicans.
Let's go then. Let's get some Democrats. Like, I literally don't care. It seems like people either do not understand that countries go broke, they don't think America could go broke, or they think when you go broke, it's not that bad.
Sure. I guess the frustrating thing then for me is that if I look at the past 3 decades of presidents, so there's a couple things. So one, the last budget surplus was Clinton, who was a Democrat, right? We had Bush for 2 terms, who we spent, I don't know how many trillions in the Middle East as a result of those wars. Then we had the whole global financial crisis in 2007. Obama came in, had to deal with that and clean up that. Our economy is kind of back on track, although we've had to borrow a lot. Then after that, we get Trump, who even before COVID is running the largest budget deficit of all time for conceivably no reason, because the economy was doing great. Then we get COVID, which does a whole bunch of horrible things. Then Biden has to come in, and then we kind of are doing that, and then getting back on track. And now we've got Trump back in again. And now
you had Trump and Biden both just spending money like drunken, printing money like drunken
Biden
sailors.
had a good reason for it. Trump had no reason for it. Trump did the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act before COVID, and his budget deficits were larger than Obama's before COVID. And then after COVID, he started to do...
But wait, do you think that after the initial COVID stimulus that we needed to keep going? Because Biden did keep going.
The problem is that Biden... The most debt that we accrued under Biden was technically from Trump. It was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that were destroying the government's ability to earn revenue. So the only way that Biden could have turned the clock back on that would have been to rescind, because those tax cuts were set to expire into, it would have been Biden's second term into Trump's current term now. That's why they had to fund on the big, beautiful bill.
It's not the only way. So here's the problem. What Trump just did with the big, beautiful bills, inexcusable. So I've got literally not only no defense for him on that front, negative defense for him, terrible. I'm mortified. I don't see any positive signals that came out of Trump 1. I don't see any positive signals that came out of Biden, and I obviously see no positive signals coming out of Trump 2.
I'm frustrated because we're locked in this cycle of Republicans doing the most fucked up, horrible shit they can, and then a Democrat having to come in on the back of that economy, and we just pretend that both are the same. And now we're looking at it right now, because right now what's happening is we had an economic contraction last quarter. That's inexcusable. We have an absolute lunatic right now who has never cut a good deal, I guess, in his entire history for the United States, who's running back for these crazy tariffs. We're going back and forth on kind of being involved in wars and not being involved in wars. We're destroying our reputation, our alliances with our most important trading partners, with Canada and Mexico. And then after all of this shenaniganery, there's going to be another Democrat who comes in and has to kind of roll off the back of all this. And it's
so now, what if you wanted to give somebody a grade for they handled the debt well? What would be the KPI that you would look at?
It would have to be how does your deficit look compared to the economic pain that you're currently suffering? And how
would you measure the economic pain though?
Well, sure. So every indicator going into Trump 1 was good. Our unemployment was historically low. Our stock markets were posting all-time highs. Our GDP was growing robustly. Everything was going well. Why did you cut taxes? That doesn't make any sense. You've already got an economy that's growing 15% year over year. Cutting taxes now, you're setting everything on fire. So that would be a really negative indicator. When I look at Biden's terms, his first term, when I look at Biden's, one term, the 4 years, he spent a lot, but the deficit was going down sequentially after he came in, and it was on the back of all of the COVID bullshit that he had to deal with and everything. And Trump and all of Trump's fans want to pretend that we don't count 2020, that year doesn't count, so we can just ignore all of that. But now Biden has to deal with the fallout of not only that, but also the horrible Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which didn't need to happen, which are annihilating government revenues, and still managed to pass at least one. The Inflation Reduction Act was a deficit neutral piece of legislation. At least one thing was deficit neutral. And now we're back to Trump, and now we're back to spending crazy, huge $150 billion increase in ICE and the DoD budget. We're hurting our economy, economic contraction, hurting trade deals all over the entire world. And now, so whatever president comes in next, and Trump is doing it for, again, this is all self-inflicted for no reason. My biggest fear, I don't know if I said this to you or not, my biggest fear with Trump coming in was, I bet this motherfucker is going to sit back and do nothing, and the economy is just going to grow like it was, and he's going to get all the credit for it, and that would trigger me so much. But he's not doing that. He's like throwing everything in the fire.
You're going to find out whether he's totally nuking it or...
No, I'm not. He is totally nuking it. Just like I said he would
That's what I'm saying. You'll see.
Yeah, I will, yeah. But like the question is, like, will people appropriately ascribe, I guess, like the credit for that? Like it was phenomenal to me to see anybody complain about running a deficit under Biden and then not mention the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. It's just like you're just setting money on fire, and it's like, for what reason? For no reason. If people are on the tribe, which many of the people that talk will be, you're never going to get a satisfying answer. Sure.
Even watching people's change on the Epstein files, and I have no idea what you think about that, but watching Mega turn to like, oh my God, this is 4D chess. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So then are we just doomed to, is it going to be this crazy shit for 4 years and then the Democrats going to come in and try to clean up? And no, I think they're going to be just as crazy. What did
Biden do that was anywhere near as crazy as what Trump has done?
So I just look at the graph of money printing. And
but we have to ask why it's happening,
right? But there's no Biden blip. There's no like, oh, it dipped during Biden. So I'm just saying right now, I don't think it matters who you elect. I don't think the people voting will vote for someone who won't give them free things.
Well, do you think that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act would have happened under Hillary Clinton?
I think that under Hillary, I don't know. When I say I woke up to politics like 24 months ago, I just wasn't paying attention to this at all.
Do you think the $160 billion for ICE and the $150 billion extra to the DoD would have happened under Kamala Harris?
No, probably not.
Sure. The global tariffs probably wouldn't have happened.
Definitely not.
So I'm seeing all of this spending
but
that's happening.
The tariffs right now, I would say we haven't seen that play out. It's generated whatever $100 billion or something. We'll see. It has done momentary spikes in the stock market, but nothing. My portfolio's up.
Sure.
So
Kamala wouldn't have extended the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, right?
Possible. That one, honestly, I have no idea.
So it seems. So when we say like everybody does the same, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like it's.
Well, but we just had Biden. Biden did not help the problem. So,
but wasn't the deficit going down? Not the debt, but the deficits at least were increasing under Biden. Like, couldn't that have continued if there was another 4 years of a Democrat in office?
Was the overall debt going down?
The debt wasn't. The deficit, so the amount we had to borrow every year, that was decreasing. But
I would consider that a good sign. I'll go back and look.
Sure.
Like when I look at how much money was printed, it was insane. The headline that I keep hearing about that is there was more stimulus than any other time other than war. So admittedly, that headline just fit with what I see in the graph. Clearly, I need to go look at it. But my hypothesis is right now, given what history tells me, in a populist moment like this, where each side is angry with the other, that they're only going to vote for people that say the other side is trash. I'm going to slap them around. I'm going to make sure you get yours and they get nothing, and that there's just going to be more of this. Now, I hope that you're right, and I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that all we have to do is get a sensible Democrat in, and that would be amazing.
Yeah, but I guess the issue is that even if you get a sensible Democrat in, it's going to be a roller coaster for 4 years, because the current guy in right now is destroying like every part of the United States' ability to be a world leader economically, ignoring everything else. So like that's just going to be the frustrating thing.
That's not my read on what's happening. I don't know how it's going to play out though. So it's
the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is solidified. There was no matched spending cut for that, really. We're borrowing massively to fund now these huge ICE operations and the Pentagon.
Yep.
We're not cutting any good trade deal. Yeah, go ahead.
BBB is absolute garbage. But what we were talking about was the international side.
Internationally, like everybody in Europe is looking in a different direction. Canada has lost faith in us. Tourism is down massively because nobody wants to come to this country right now because of how xenophobic we're coming off in a variety of different ways. Mexico's faith in it. Remember, keep in mind, the one deal that Trump could have taken credit for was renegotiating NAFTA into the U.S., Mexico, Canada free trade agreement or whatever. That's been completely blown up now, right? Because we've just said all these times Trump is complaining about Canada's 145% tariffs on dairy. That's only once it reaches a certain amount, and that was negotiated in his deal. So now he's bragging about bombing Iran. He's the one that tore up the JCPOA. So it's like,
flash
so what are we?
Forward 3.5 years. what do you see on an international stage? Where will the trading partners have formed alliances without us?
That would be a worst case scenario. I feel like the entire world is still kind of like, I don't even say like a malaise. I feel like nobody wants to believe it, and people are kind of just waiting for like, America's not serious. Like, I think they're going to wake up. But like watching the US president come out with that stupid fucking poster of like 145% tariffs and 120, it was like, this, it can't be real. We're not really doing 45% tariffs on the island of penguins, right? This can't possibly be reality. But I'm hoping people don't believe it. But like, if reality starts to settle in that the US is no longer a reliable trading partner on everything else.
Try something. You might think that this is absolutely insane, but this hits for me. So I heard you say something recently that I thought was so insightful. Pulled my producer aside, said the same thing, because I, as a personality, I think I'm always going to struggle to get a big audience because I'm not bombastic.
Sure.
And you had said, I thought for a long time in a populist moment, you needed people that had like extreme philosophies. And I realized that's actually not true. You can have a moderate position. You just have to have messaging. Extreme. Yep. So when I look at Trump, that's what I see, is somebody who goes into a negotiation like an extreme lunatic. And people are like, fuck, I don't know what he's going to do. So knocking people on the back foot certainly puts him into a more advantageous negotiating position if you're comfortable with realpolitik.
So this myth needs to be utterly and completely destroyed, because Trump has never negotiated anything amazing for the United States. In the first term, it didn't happen, and it hasn't happened so far. I don't know why he gets credit for being this master negotiator. He's not. Can you think of a single great thing that was negotiated in the first Trump term?
Like I said, I've only been paying attention politically.
I would challenge any conservative, and I put this to a challenge. There is nothing. We have nothing to show for his great negotiation skills. We were supposed to get 90 deals in 90 days, and now yesterday Trump said in 2 weeks everybody's getting tariffed. We've got these cringy letters going out that look like they're from my mom and dad on Facebook with the random caps locks and everything on different words. He's not a good negotiator. He's not throwing anybody off on the back foot. And you, like, I'll fight you to death on this, okay? And I won't believe you if you disagree with me. If you and I were to negotiate something as a business deal, and you're selling some service for $1 million, if I were to come at you and go, I'll give you $100 for that, you're not going to look at me as though, ooh, he's put me in a challenging negotiating spot. You're going to ignore me. You're not even going to respond to that email, and you're not even going to do negotiations with me, because I'm so far out of what would even be reasonable. It's not even covering your costs. So this idea that you can go into any negotiation with the equivalent of an explosive vest on and be like, we're all going to die until you come to an agreement with me, and this is like the master negotiator. If that was true, then my question is, what do we have to show for it? If you wanted to say one thing, and I would even argue the U.S.-Mexican Free Trade Agreement, it was like NAFTA Junior. It was a little bit upgrade, but not really significantly different, and that's been completely and utterly destroyed now, so he can't even take credit for that. We're almost at our 90 days. Where are the 90 deals? We have 0 deals. We've gotten 0 deals in all of this time. Nobody's ready to negotiate with us. Trump has gone back and forth on these tariffs the entire time. I don't know if you saw, but even the way that we calculated the tariffs was hilariously stupid. It was just the difference in trade deficits divided by like total exports, and we were like, they must have a 52% tariff on us. Like, all of the trade deficit could be attributed to a tariff. It's insane. You listen to this Lutnick guy talk, and you think you're actually like high on acid. You stumbled into like a 4th grade classroom, and you're listening to kids talk about how they think the economy works. It's just unreal. So I hate that, like, he's a master negotiator. Because then my question is, okay, well, what is he negotiated? Because we have nothing. We were promised the war in Israel would be over. It's not. We thought that Hamas is going to release all the hostages. They haven't. We were promised at day 0, Ukraine, Russia would be done. It's not. We were promised no new wars. We bombed Iran. Like, nothing has come to fruition that this guy said. But he keeps eluding all of this as like the master negotiator. I don't know how. The only thing he's negotiated is his PR, I guess. I just don't. It's very frustrating. Yeah.
It's interesting. So the way that I take the tariffs is, the tariff D-Day for me is, where are we at midterms? And 90 days, day 1, all of that stuff, whatever, that doesn't matter if he can actually get a deal done. If he doesn't get it done by midterms, he's lost. It's over. It's finished. Like, he'll be a lame duck. He'll never be remembered. He will go out, just be absolutely thrashed. But if he can actually get in a position where we bring key manufacturing back to the US, which I think is critical, if he can set us up to actually weather a Cold War with China, which I think I take very seriously. That's probably the thing. I think about the economy, and I think about us and China. Like,
but that doesn't make sense. Like, you say win a Cold War with China. Did we win the Cold War with the Soviet Union by buckling down and getting every single thing set up in the U.S. and abandoning every... We didn't. We were literally cooing governments in South America. We were literally cooing governments in the Middle East to try to get people on our side. It was so important.
Yeah, but this is where I think you have to be careful. When you look at the past, you want to understand why it worked at that time. You don't just want to say, let's do the same thing. We are, like, AI is a potential winner take all. So this is not the one that you can play around with. Game theoretics tells you that even if we try to chill, regulate, they won't, because if you can win in any substantive way, like if you have a 3-month head start or whatever, if you hit AGI 3 months ahead of the other side, it's game over. So you need to be in a race, and that race there is going to be born of energy. It's going to be born of working with industry. You're going to have to deregulate some things. But
then this is where I want all the other countries to be friends with us. If you want to come and study in the United States,
you and I both.
It should be easy. It should be like that. The idea that we're deporting people because, and I'm not a big Israel guy, but I tend to side with Israel more. But the fact that we're deporting people based on being in pro-Palestine protests, why? Why are we doing this? Or that we're attacking Columbia, Harvard, like these are our shining star, or that we're defunding all the scientific research. Like it's not just going to be private capital that funds, the expansion in AI. There's a whole bunch of other research, a whole bunch of other like bright minds that we need to bring here. And
you're talking at the university level?
Yeah, there's a lot of starting points there that can branch off into other stuff that's important. And even just having those people in the country.
So part of the disconnect here might be that when I looked at the Biden government, I did not trust them to get anything done. Like from a PR perspective, they were, if you take me as a constituency, I was mortified. They either didn't notice that he was senile or didn't care that he was senile. The people behind the scenes, if Jake Tapper can be believed, refer to themselves as the Politburo. When I hear things like that and I see them skip a primary, and I already get massive authoritarian vibes with all the censorship and all of that, and then the voice that has gotten the most attention, I have no idea how you feel, but the voice that has gotten the most attention on their side in the last couple of months is Mamdani, who's literally just socialist. And that leaves me going, okay, well, that feels like the direction of that party. I'm not expecting them to be the people to get us through a Cold War with China. So
I mean, I guess that is a perspective that you could have, but then it comes down to the factual analysis. Like if we were to have an argument over who is more senile, I could give you so much more evidence for Trump now than Biden.
Really? You
easily
really think
it would be
that?
The easiest argument.
This is the one where now I'm going to say I don't believe you.
That's fine, but the only thing that you can give me from Biden is he sucks at speaking and he got a lot slower in debates. Like for Donald Trump, like I can show you, like we can watch him sign executive orders. He talked about the auto pen so much, he doesn't even know what he's signing. And on TV, there's a guy handing him a thing and he's like, and what is this? And the guy's like, this is the order that you wanted, Mr. President, in order to correct on this. And I can show you video after video.
Okay, but hold on really fast, because you've always been a person who really says what they think, even when it costs you. So if this is the take, it is interesting how we can look at the same thing and see something so different. So you really believe side by side Trump is way deeper in decline than Biden?
When you say decline, it's a comparative analysis, which is harder.
Yeah.
I think that Trump's baseline for how he presented himself intelligently, I firmly believe that in term one, he thought that stealth planes were invisible, like Wonder Woman's jet. So for that guy, has he declined more? I don't know. If you're going from 100 IQ to 85 IQ, theoretically, that's a less significant decline than 160 to 120. But at the end of the day, you still want the 120 guy, right? Trump presents himself, there are worse words that I could say, but we can go through meeting after meeting after meeting. We can go through event after event after event that Biden would have never, like he makes dumb gaffes sometimes when he speaks, but like Donald Trump speaking to the South African president, he sat there with him for 10 minutes and watched a Twitter video compilation on genocide in South Africa. He was asked a question about, and Trump doesn't know this because he doesn't know anything, which is an easy way for him to hide his senility, about the ICJ's case in South Africa's involvement. Trump doesn't know that when you talk about the genocide case for Israel and Gaza, that was brought to the International Court of Justice by South Africa. Trump didn't know that. And even when they said ICJ, and Trump was like, ICJ, the South African president, because everybody's probably been coached, you have to make Trump feel like he's not a retard when you're next to him. He quickly interjects, the International Criminal Justice. And then Trump's like, oh yeah. And if you listen to Trump answer that question, anybody's free to go back. He has no idea. He's freeballing. He's like, it's a tough ruling and we hope that, he had no clue that this is about Israel and Gaza. If Biden would have made that same gaffe, we'd be talking about it for 2 weeks. But instead, Trump can do gaffe after gaffe after gaffe, and it's funny and it's affable. Is that the word? Like, it's just like funny and memey and jokey, and that's it. but like he was arguing with Zelensky that the Crimea was invaded. I think he said 2015 instead of 2014. He didn't know the dates on that. We've got Steve Witkoff, our envoy, is in front of Tucker Carlson, doesn't even know the names of the regions in Ukraine that were contested, and now he's our lead envoy. Like, it's a joke. Like, I can ask you, like, this is a challenge I've issued to conservatives. I continue to issue it. Can you give me a single clip or cite a single speech where Trump seems like he's speaking about something that he like knows anything about, like he's like actually coherent about it? You can't. There's not a single thing. So then when the question is like, can you show more decline between him and Biden? It's hard because Biden knows a lot about government and how things work and foreign policy and everything else, and like he definitely got slower speaking. But if I look at the output of that government in terms of legislation, in terms of relationship with other countries around the world, and I compare it to Trump loses that 10 out of 10 times. And we can go through any metric, any arena. But like all we have is like Biden had a really bad debate performance, but like what did Trump say in that debate? He just repeated the same stupid slogans verbatim and said nothing of substance as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't think that Trump did well in that debate, but and listen, frame of reference is everything, and I get that two people can look at the same thing and see something very different. Sure. But man, once I started paying attention to Biden, I was legitimately like, this is crazy. For my money, it is the craziest thing I've ever seen in politics. I was like,
do you think that Trump truthing out that he's mad that Putin isn't listening to him and he feels like he pulled a fast one from him, that doesn't make you cringe? That's not like, what is this guy saying? Like, obviously Putin is not being forward with you. That's not like a what the moment.
It does make me cringe, but it's not like,
or when he's truthing out, Israel, you need to turn those planes back right now. Don't bomb Iran again. Like, that's not like
there's an element of Trump doing everything out in the open that I think is awesome. I love being able to see it. Now, the fact that...
But it's stupid. I'm not talking about it being out in the open.
Now, is this for you, like, you want people to be presidential? Or?
No, this is stupid. To say that I can't believe Putin lied to me, the whole world is looking at you like you're an idiot. Or to say, like, Israel, you need to turn those planes back right now. Like, this isn't, like, out in the open. He's just an idiot. He's no...
That's so... Hey, fair enough, man.
Sure.
Look, you're super bright.
Is there a single issue that you've heard him talk about? You're like, oh, he's making a lot of sense there.
Yes, many, many times. So like, it's... I mean, I would have to go
when he talks about cyber or when he talks about AI or crypto or like he knows nothing about any of these things, right?
When
like
he talks about how to get things done, when he talks about the understanding like, okay, we've got China's going to be a problem. We've got to bring back some of our manufacturing. Like there are a lot of these issues that I feel like when you watch him, he's not an eloquent speaker, but he gets the gist. He's down in the weeds. Like he understands like what things are in play. And I guess because I'll forget like the name every now and then, I'll be like, wait, what the f*** is that word? So it's like, I don't look at that stuff and go, okay, hold on a second. This is somebody.
But even if you're looking at China, Biden got us the CHIPS Act, which actually like served as a massive investment into...
full disclosure, I don't think Biden got us anything. That's my mental map.
Okay,
my mental map is this is all Politburo.
That's fine. Whoever was running the government behind Biden then.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is my whole beef is that guy wasn't really that guy.
Okay.
Now that, I think from historical conversations, that's never bothered you. But that bothers me a lot. Now,
so who do you think for Trump? When Trump is presented executive orders to sign that he's clearly never seen before, what does that make you feel?
So I have a guess. Obviously, I know nothing that isn't publicly available. My instinct is that he's sitting down with whoever his top advisors are, and he's saying, okay, I want to put something together like this. I want it to be like this. Cool, get it. And then they'll bring it. He's done so many of these damn things that it's like the person's reminding him, here are all the key things that you had agreed to. And he knows if this guy's bringing it to me, this is obviously what I agreed to previously. Cool, sign it. Because as a CEO, I do that kind of stuff all the time, especially when I had 3,000 employees. Dude, you've got like, okay, there's a small handful of people that I trust. We had a meeting about this a week ago. I don't remember the specifics, but it's like, these were the things that we agreed on. And I would ask them, are these the things that I specifically say? Yes, it is. Cool.
But you would never have that conversation in front of your opposition that you're signing the contract with. You would never go to a meeting with another guy and you're like, what was this again? Like,
and you don't like that? Because I don't know if I like it just because it's good content or if I actually think it's good. Admittedly, this might be terrible for the country, but I love that I'm able to see how this all works. Now, keep in mind, I am wildly disillusioned by politicians as a class.
Okay.
I think they are universal liars. I think the odds of Trump being on the Epstein list borders on 100%.
Okay.
People are always confused because they think that I'm going to bat for Trump. I'm trying to describe what I see.
Okay.
So I see somebody who I just assume he's a liar, but when I look at the way that he deals on an international stage, I think he's somebody that he's not for play, say what you will, but like once he thinks, hey, this is the way that I think it should be done, he's going to see that through. You were certainly not going to be able to push Trump around. He's never going to be able to play the, Netanyahu told me and I just felt like that's not him.
But that's literally him, though. This is the biggest, as a pro-Israel guy, he's the biggest Israeli dick suck. He's the only guy, him and Netanyahu, that are pushing me towards like pro-Palestinian rhetoric on Twitter. He does anything Netanyahu tells him to do.
But do you think he has reasons? Like I've heard you say, someone can act rationally towards an immoral end.
Sure.
And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Now people don't like that, but nonetheless, I would say that's true.
I think his reason is just that old people in this country like Israel because they grew up. Israel had a cool story growing up. If you were an older person and he likes Israel and the voter base likes Israel and that's it. So whatever Netanyahu says, he's like, okay.
Yeah. So he's pursuing his interests. He's not doing it because he's weak or that Netanyahu's pushing him around. He's running some algorithm in his brain that says this is a cool guy that I really want to help, and he really wants to do it, and so he really does it.
Sure.
I'm just saying Trump isn't the guy that like you're going to be able to push around. So part of my beef, but if
Netanyahu wanted to push further, he could, and Trump wouldn't be able to stop him because Trump can be played by any world leader. You agree that every world leader looks at Trump like a buffoon waiting to be played egotistically, right?
I think everybody has a strategy for dealing with Trump for sure.
And the strategy is just flattery.
Get their way? Probably not.
Well, like is it Rutte guy, the guy who used to be I don't know if he was a prime minister in the Netherlands who's like does the NATO stuff now. Like when you look at him talk to Trump, it looks like you're talking to you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Joffrey, right? He's like, oh, President Trump, you're such a great guy and you were so smart when you did this, and it's like endless flattery because that's what
hate it.
Okay, but like it's
I get
effective.
It's a strat.
It works.
Like listen,
you saw Zelensky tweet out 2 days ago, like we're so grateful that the United States.
Machiavelli tells you that of course this is how it's going to be.
But it's sad because it's showing you that this works on our president.
Dude, it works on everybody.
Absolutely not.
What?
Do you think there's any amount of flattery that Putin could have done to get like Hillary?
It's not always going to be flattery. It's always going to be a thing.
Oh, sure. But I want the thing to be, there's good things and there's bad things. Like if my interest is, if I'm negotiating on behalf of my wife for a contract, like the way that I get this guy is I'm going to do a lot of good things for his wife's business or whatever. Okay, that's fine. That's good. But if my thing is like, I like to see children suffer and you're like, I'm going to give them a lot of videos of children dying. Yeah, there's a way to play the game, but I don't want you to have to play the game that's not good.
The bad news. I really believe that's how the game is played.
Sure, but it depends on who you're trying to.
Who's the leader that we should admire?
I think that history will look fondly on Biden's presidency as a shining star in the middle and sandwiched between two unbelievably crazy.
Can you give me somebody else?
I think that the advancement of the ACA under Obama and the Iranian nuclear deal. Yeah.
Give me a leader, like a person, male, female, like Obama.
I mean, there are things I like and don't like about him.
Okay, but that seems fair.
It's hard to say. I don't know if I'm a big like. Here's a shining star person. Like,
okay, this is my whole point. Because even if I tried to give you, I mean, for me, Nelson Mandela is about as close as you're going to get. Maybe I haven't looked closely enough. Maybe there really is an underside. I think he was unfaithful on his wife. But anyway, I'm sure there's something bad. But holy hell, that man acted in a way that absolutely blows me away. I used to really. Like Lincoln was my jam. And then the more you learn about the Civil War, the more you realize he actually said the words, if I could hold the Union together without freeing a single slave, I would. It's like, oh God. So I think that most people aren't going to be a shining star. So all I'm saying is Trump is a fucking mess. A mess. And
because there's not a shining star, though, I can still speak with some granularity. Yeah, so
you're saying, do you agree?
My parents are not perfect, but they're not Hitler, right? And they're like, whether we can speak with granularity, right?
Sure.
I think Trump is overwhelmingly bad across almost every domain we look. We've talked about a lot of them today. Yeah, it's very hard for me to find any pro. Like, if you had to name,
he's a populist leader.
But if you what is the best thing that he's done over the past, like his presidential term right now?
He is on an international basis drawing a line and making sure that everybody understands that if he makes a threat, he's going to back it up.
But he hasn't. That's not true, though.
That is true.
We didn't invade Greenland. We didn't invade Panland, the Panama Canal. We didn't go to war and start taking territory from Canada.
He didn't say he was going to invade Greenland. He said some unhinged shit, trust me.
Okay.
The 51st state stuff I hated, wished he had stopped. The Greenland thing, I was like, why is he bothering?
He's gone back and forth on terrorists a ton.
But are you saying, like, are we in taco territory here? Like, he literally just dismantled the Iranian nuclear sites. Whether you wish he would or not, he said he was going to do it, he did it. The tariff thing, he puts tariffs
Well,
on.
he did that after
will
Israel
take
failed to
tariffs
do
off.
it, right? Netanyahu asked him to do it and said he had to, and then he did it, right? Because Israel wasn't able to. But even that's just an extension of the fact that we abandoned the nuclear deal that we had before under Obama because Trump just left. For
Yeah,
no
but you're
reason.
asking me what things he's doing that I think are effective.
Okay.
And I think
the
that's
B2
very
mission was
effective.
cool. I thought it was cool, and I'm not a fan of Iran having nuclear weapons.
Sure. That makes two of us.
Sure.
So on top of that, he's obviously not he's not suicidal. So he puts the tariffs on China, and then he is wise enough to take them back off. But he is unafraid to do very aggressive, very unconventional things. Now, I don't know if they're going to work. And so it's entirely possible that this plays out terribly.
Hold on. I don't understand this. I don't understand this heuristic.
Okay.
I can think of a lot.